Sorry about that, guys. Bad connection. So anyways, getting back to it, Bubba Wallace was on Don Lemon. He's on The View. He's on everywhere. So now everybody in America thinks that NASCAR is filled with racists that are putting, these people don't learn their lessons. You know, they're saying that it's filled with racists that put a noose in the garage. And it was a lie. And all of your sports, all of your... Did they retract it? Nope. Never retracted it. But they sure as hell pushed the false narrative that somebody in NASCAR could put a noose out there. Never covered it after the fact. Never. LeBron James says that somebody spray painted something on his wall. Conveniently, his camera goes on, and then he's out there with interviews too. At the front gate is off, and then when investigators come by, whatever was spray painted was covered over. So then, who else was it? There was somebody else. Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett says that he was at the airport, and I guess some people were yelling at him racial comments. That all happened this week. So a big push that was covered in the media, but then it being false was not. The retractions were not. So what does that do? It pushes the false narrative that this country is filled with racists, and it's not. Does it have racism? Yes. All you need to do is listen to any black leader that's out there. Candace Owens, now Thomas Sowell, Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington. You go through the list of the Hodge twins, ABL. You listen to these people and they will tell you systemic racism hasn't existed in their lives. It was never a factor in their lives at all. Not even once. So, if you have a white son, or all I want to tell white women is this. I want to say to white women that if you are hating on white men, just think about if it was your son. How would you feel if somebody attacked your son for being white? Just for the fact of being white and then called him a racist? How would that make you feel? Think about that when you make a decision to hate white men. And think about how that would affect your son. Because that's very, very important. You're being fed lies. And it's not like the women on my page, they don't hate white men. Like, they see it for what it is. But there are huge groups of people that think white men are the problem. Huge groups of people that think white men are the problem of white women. So, I had a few other things. The affirmative action, that was another thing. How many people that I know that didn't get jobs because of affirmative action? They were displaced because they lost 10 points or whatever it was, however many points, just simply by virtue of their skin. That has been a policy that has been in place for decades, and that displaced white men from jobs for decades. So just imagine if the reverse applied. Just imagine if white men got 10 points for virtue of being white. The outcry that would happen. It's absurd. The black community victimizes the black community more than anyone else. Family members, like I said, they will go after the success of any member of their black family. I know this. And it's not all black families. It's not. It's just like it's not all white families, But there are a percentage of black families that will attack somebody in their family that is successful. That is just a fact. It happens. Do they hate gay people? Not every black person, but yes, for the most part, black community, despite why? How do I know this? How do I know that they hate gay people? Because my black friends that are gay tell me that that's the way it is. My black friends that have gay children tell me that the black community has an utter disdain and non-acceptance for anybody that's gay in their community. And that's it. You know, you cannot sit there and say that all white people are racist. If you are that person calling every white person a racist, you're the racist. You are the racist. By very definition of racism, you are the racist. You are the bigot. You are the one that's prejudiced. You are the one that it goes for everybody. You know, oh, this was something else I was thinking about. All of a sudden, everybody's got to be the same, right? Like, we all got to be homogenized. Everybody exactly the same, and you got to tear down white people to bring everybody down to their level. And Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, Thomas Sowell, all of these people that are out there that have been talking for years and years and years to the black community to rise, to make themselves more successful. You want to tear everybody down so that you can all be at the same level. It's not the way it works. You know, but then they develop that term, cultural appropriation. It's a term that they've concocted. Cultural appropriation. White people that culturally appropriate are horrible people and they're racists. But we want everybody to be homogenized. We want everybody to be the same. We want everybody to be on the same level. But cultural appropriation, bad. Makes zero sense. What else did I have? So I think that was about it. Oh, you told this story a few times. You know, my family was on the east side of Buffalo. You know, they were in the state streets, Montana and Nevada. And, you know, a lot of other family members that I had that grew up on the east side. And I've told this story, and I shared this story downtown in the city when I was there at that Antifa, you know, that Antifa deal. So that had like 99% white people and like 10 black people, and they all stood up for me. They all protected me. My family was down there, all white, and what happened? Well, you had their home values, the values of their homes that they built, the communities that they built, the churches that they built, everybody started to leave. This is going back to the, you know, this is going back to the 50s. This is going back to the 60s. So everybody starts to leave, and then their property values, they go down. So property values go way down. Their taxes haven't gone down any. City of Buffalo and everything else left that exactly the same. Now their property value is too low, hundreds of dollars for a house. You know, that, you know, however much it cost, it didn't cost much to build then, but they can't sell it. They can't get anybody to buy their house. And if they even did, where were they going to move? Where were they going to go? So where were they stuck? They were stuck in their house, in a community that they had built, in a house that they had built, now in a neighborhood that they didn't even recognize. The church was gone, the bakeries were gone, everything was gone. And what moved in? The black community. And then what happened? You had the black community taking advantage of, victimizing, and criminalizing these poor people. This is what they did. My family, they would sit there, elderly people, in their 60s, in their 70s, in their 80s, they would sit there in their homes and watch as black youth and black men broke into their homes and stole their stuff. If they were lucky, they had their stuff stolen from their homes. If they were lucky. If they weren't lucky, they got assaulted. Sorry guys, I gotta plug in here before I die. So I'm back. All right. So if they were lucky, they just were broken in. And as they sat there, you know, in their chair watching their TV, had their stuff stolen. You know, they had to hear outside names called, all kinds of names, harassed, brutalized, threatened, get out of their neighborhood, why are you still here? And then, you know, the break-ins happened, and then the assaults happened, and then the murders happened. Now that happened, and that's still happening. It's been happening, it's still happening. And to this day, that still happens. That didn't go away. Do I hold that against my black friends? Nope. Was my family victimized? Yes, they were absolutely victimized. Yes, absolutely. Just by virtue of the color of their skin and them being white. By black people. Were they victimized by Asians? Nope. Were they victimized by Hispanics? Nope. Were they victimized by Arabs? Nope. Were they victimized by the French? Were they victimized even by, you know, somebody from Haiti or Jamaica or Africa? Nope. Black Americans victimized my white family members and my white friends for decades. And it's still happening. Now, am I looking for reparations? Nope. I'm not looking for reparations. Am I looking for the return on the value of the house that was destroyed? Am I looking for justice because my family member was robbed, thieved, you know, harassed, assaulted, verbally assaulted, murdered? Nope. I'm not looking for that either. And it still happens in our city every day. And I don't hold that against everybody. Where are those voices? Where are the voices for those people? And where are the voices for the elderly black people that the black community victimizes? They go after them, too. They go after the Asians, everybody. Why does it happen? Education. It all starts with family and education. You know, how does it get fixed? You know, you had here in Buffalo is an atrocity. It's an abomination. It has not served our inner city communities for decades. As a result, you don't have anybody that is educated enough to figure out how to do what they need to do. Nobody. You know? They're going to school, and then the students that want to be... My brother taught at Bennett. My brother taught at Burgard. So I know. And he lost one or two students every year getting murdered. And I talk to the kids who come down to the football field to watch us play football. Because that's the only thing they have to do, is to come there. And they're worried. They have to worry about going home and getting killed. By the police, yes, because they're told that police are part of the problem, but also their friends and people they don't even know. They have to worry about being killed by both of those people, all of those people in their communities. You know, they've watched family members kill other family members for drugs, for money, for unknown reasons. It starts with family. And the only way it starts with family is by getting back to church. And so many black families try so hard. They really do. And they have done an amazing job rising above everything, just like white families have. You know, like poor white families have. Like me. I was a poor white person. You know, I had no privilege. My father had no privilege. My grandfather had no privilege. Nobody in my family had privilege. So, you have so many members of the black community that have risen up. So many that have risen up. Why aren't they the models of success? You know, AUSL is a school out in Chicago. You know, that my friend Ellen taught at for 2 different years, the different schools. They go into the worst performing school in the district and take it over. And in 2 months' time, they turned the entire school around. The entire school. This man has been doing this for 23 years. This is a model that could have been used here in Buffalo for the past 23 years. And in every other metropolitan area where schools have been failing pandemically, with true pandemic, the true pandemic, for decades at this point. So why don't people talk about that? Why don't people try to get a program like AUSL in? Why is it that they don't feel that the black community is good enough or deserving enough to get that stuff in so that they can start to get their values? Like good students, good black students. My brother felt horrible for good black students. He felt horrible for average black students because they couldn't get anything done. You had the third of the class and the handful of really, really bad students that would disrupt the entire class. And these good performing kids who could have a future have no chance in these school systems. So when you want to look to who is victimizing the black community, right now you look at the black education system in these democratic strongholds for decades, from the 50s, the 60s. That's all that time that everything could have been turned around. Could have been turned around. But it got worse. And it's not like Buffalo is a shining moniker of education now because we got somebody new in there. No, it's not. It's still a bastion of hell. And the graduation rates are abysmal. Abysmal. My brother was told to pass every single kid in his class. Didn't matter what their score was. They scored a 20 on it, you pass them. So, what else did I have? I had a couple things here. Let me see, quick. I covered just about everything. Long video here, guys. I really appreciate you watching and listening. It's kind of needed to vent. I'm on the road right now, obviously. So, but my major point about this whole thing is do not feel guilty for being white. Do not let anybody classify you as a terrorist. Do not let anybody classify you as a racist just by virtue of being white. You turn it around on them and say, do you know who I am? Do you know where I came from? I thought we're looking to end racism, but you're being a racist right now. You tell your boys, you tell your daughters that are white to not allow anybody to treat them, if that's a racist, to treat them poorly. You don't allow anybody to tell them that they are no good or that they are bad. I tell you how many teachers that I talk to that see what happens to these white boys in these schools, how they are mistreated. You know, I can't tell you how many parents that I talk to that say, I fear for my son. My son doesn't know what to do. He watches TV and he's told he's a racist. He goes to school and he's told he's got to go through diversity training, and just by virtue of him being white, he is a racist. How is that possible? You know, we gotta come together. I don't care what color, what religion. You know, we were down at that rally, you know, in Albany, and we had every ethnicity there. We had Hispanic, we had Jewish, we had Asian. I talked to somebody who was from Portugal. You know, I talked to somebody else who was, I can't remember where, but we had black members of the community there. We had all of these people there. We need to empower everybody. Stop trying to bring people down to another level that is the result of an entire community victimizing their community and their youth and their family members and their friends for decades, and elevate that community, elevate that community, make it better, improve it. And it starts with education. You know, once people start to believe that they can be better, that they can do better, then they have hope. And when you have hope and belief, man, that is when you feel like you can do something. When you're operating in fear, you know, and trying to disparage people, trying to tear people down, it's not a model for success. That's not what America's built on. That's not what, I don't know how many millions of African, you know, black Americans in this country are successful and have made themselves successful and have made their families successful for generations, hundreds and hundreds of years, that they have made their lineage successful. So, you know, I'll get back to talking about everything with the lockout, the lockdown and everything, but this was eating at me today, you know, with what Cuomo had said, you know, tearing down the statues and what they had said before, you know, supporting the rioters and the looters and everything else. And just these personalities that are out there that are saying, tear everything down that's white. Why don't you build everything up that's black? Isn't that a better way to do it? Build everyone up that's black. Look at your own communities. Look at your own religious leaders. Look at your own community leaders. Look at your own politicians. Look at your own family members. Look at your own friends. Look at your own neighborhoods. Like, if you are in a neighborhood that is shitty as fuck, I'm sorry, maybe you need to put the friggin' looking glass back at yourself. You know, it wasn't a white person that came into your neighborhood. Byron Brown has been mayor for how many years? 12 years, 15 years? Has he improved the east side? Nope. Never once. Not one thing to improve the east side. Not one thing. Was that white people? This last time I checked the city council, not made up of a whole lot of white people. You know, like I said, my black friends and black family members, they know, and even Caleb and Josh, who I just met, and these black youth that are out there singing and doing the spoken word and doing poetry and doing plays that I watch, they are outraged into crying what has happened to them and their families. And that's the truth. Don't feel guilty for being white. If you want to do it, don't bring yourself down. Don't kneel in front of anybody for any reason. Elevate. Bring somebody else up. Bring a community up. Bring a neighborhood up. Bring a school up. Bring a youth group up. Rise. You know, not rise to defeat anybody else, but rise together. Elevate together. Share information. Share knowledge. It's how it should be. Anyways, it's a long one. But thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you. Love you all, and enjoy your evening. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.